And here you are yet again. I must say your hunger is great, unlike the Fae I slaughtered at Castle Yulvin. Now come, let us test ourselves against each other. I do not fear being cut down. I will rise again in time, unlike you.
What can I help you with?
You've done it. We owe you our lives, and our livelihood. If not, we'd be food for spiders, and the widow would be dancing on our remains. There is not enough gold to show our gratefulness. But this is what we can give. Take it, with our thanks. I'm not much for leading towns, but I can protect it, especially with hope like yours. Thanks again, friend. The spiders have stopped their attacks, and the wood seems a bit brighter. We'll see how long it stays that way. Be well.
Have you found what's happened to my family? I don't know him personally, but it seems few do. I've seen him in a fight, however, and there's much we can learn from him. For the longest time, I thought I would put it behind me, try to pick up the pieces and keep heading west, from the war, from everything. But it can't be escaped. There's some things in this world you can't run from. So I decided to stay here. Farewell.
Yes? I have a moment I can spare for you. It's quieter than I've heard in all my years. In some ways, it's as disconcerting as knowing the spiders were still out there. Aside from your doings, I have the feeling that there won't be any more tales to tell of Webwood. Good day. Yes? I have a moment I can spare for you. Stay safe.
Welcome to Gorehart.
I'm sorry. Did you say something? I'm a bit lost in thought. Today could be the day, you know. Camden could be the next one to round that corner. He is my husband. Although we were together for only one night before he marched. His militia fights under the banner of General Finn. We had one night together. And then he departed for 3 long years. He will return. My heart tells me so. I can't give you much in return, but what I have is yours. The Alpha army is notoriously secretive with their information, and all my pleas for help have been ignored. You might find something in Dyden Hill. That is where Camden volunteered. Of course, that was years ago. Thank you for your kindness. I will be waiting here for news. On that very road, the one leading east to the Rathir coast, he was heading off to enlist at the station in Dyden Hill. That was years ago. How would I look to him now? Goodbye.
What's this? Another hireling?
You're welcome in the keep, as long as your honor's intact. Dead? Each and every one? Well, you certainly rose above the call of service. You've earned your pay, and then some. The last poor souls who tried it came to no good, did they? A shame, but profitable for you. Here's the pay. On with you.
What's this? Another hireling? What's this? Another hireling?
Hireling.
It's good pay, but trying work.
Sworn to war? Sworn to war?
Greetings.
Stay sharp.
Hireling?
What is it this time? Why do I bother? It all goes dull and bent again. Soon enough. Goodbye now.
What do you want from an old sour blacksmith? What do you want from an old sour blacksmith?
At your service. Things to repair? You'll want the owner for that. What? That's all?
struck by the fate of Saga.
Glynel, I assure you it's an ancient codex, just like in the tales.
Intriguing. And why would such a thing be revealed to a child of dust?
And here I was beginning to think that you'd never show up. This is Glynel, Lore Master of the House of Ballads. Give the codex over to him, and he may have your answers. I'm a woman of many talents, and we're all taught that we must use our talents for the greatest good, right? The Codex of Fate is no simple lore stone. It's more subtle and complex than any mortal could comprehend. But a lore master of ballads may be able to interpret it. We are the charmed, the subtle, and the inspired. In happier days, we were the loftiest of the mortal races. We despise open war. But for decades, the Tuatha have been at war with us, pushing into our lands and forcing us to take up arms. For a long time, they were content to keep to their play of the summer and winter courts. Now we fight Gadflow and the Tuatha for our very existence. A close friend once told me, strive to be whatever you want to be. Fate might be a lie, but if it isn't, then worrying about it won't change a thing. Glynel's one of the greatest balladeers amongst the Fae, and the most learned lore master you'll find outside of Issa. And as it happens, he owes me a favor. The Fae do not have a written language, so their tales are their lifeblood, their history, and their future all in one. The House of Ballads is where they enshrine these legends and celebrate them time and again. The Summer Court, or the Seelie Fae if you prefer, embody the growth and energy of nature, but they can still be as aloof and uncaring as a brutal summer day. The current High King of the Fae is Titarian, the wisest of the Summer Court. While Gadflow has undermined the Winter Court, he tries to keep their cycle in balance. You haven't been around much, have you? The Tuatha have been pressing west from their home in Alabastra. Right now, they're only threatening my people. But if we fall, the Tuatha will turn their eyes to the other mortal races. Titarian isn't quite what you'd expect from the High King of Summer. But he hasn't got the arrogance of his cousins, or their cheer. Ever since Gadflow killed the High King of Winter and started the war, Titarian has become distant and melancholy, and blind to the dangers around him. The Tuatha are a radical sect of Fae within the Winter Court, led by Gadflow and his insane rants about their new god. They've taken power and declared war on mortals. They use raw prismia to enhance their power, and their devotion borders on madness. But the most terrifying thing to the Fae is simply the fact that their siblings have changed so completely. The Winter Court, or the Unseelie, embrace the destruction and decay of nature. They aren't evil, but they aren't exactly the best of friends. Normally they share power peacefully with the Summer Court, but since the Tuatha have seized power, there is neither peace nor predictability. Lore Master Glynel has devoted centuries to the study of lore and ancient Fae stories. The codex you found isn't just any lore stone. Just talk to him, and I'm sure he'll be able to shed some light on the issue. Be on your way.
You must be Lady Shear's friend. She speaks very highly of you. An occasion rare enough to be worth recording in its own right. But let's see this codex. fabled Codex of Destiny. When the Fate Weavers formed their order, our High King gave his own wisdom to assist them. To have such knowledge in your hands is a tremendous gift, but why did it reveal itself to you? Nonsense. All children of dust have a story that is written before you see your first dawn. Now, I can only make out some parts, but this is odd. The Codex speaks of an exception, a void, an end to the endless. This is simply too much. The High King would never pawn such absurdity off as wisdom. I'm sure you think it is. I fear you must have been taken in by a forgery. A perfectly created one, perhaps, but a forgery nonetheless. But this codex speaks of impossible things, changes to fate, death of the immortals, and other heresies. To ascribe these lies to the High King would be... I'm sorry, but I must ask you to take it away. I will have no part in these lies. He is an offense to our people. He upsets the natural order, and his war breaks the cycle. I will speak no more of him. Is there a meaning to it? Only its author can tell you. Do not bother me with such foolishness again.
Glyner spends his life cherishing old stories, but show him something truly new, and he dismisses it. Tragic. First of all, we ignore this fool. Most Fae aren't comfortable with change, and you are certainly something new. I'm afraid that only one person will really be able to help us with the Codex. The High King himself. It will be difficult. His court is in the city of Issa. Very few mortals are permitted in its gardens. I do know one individual who can grant you permission to enter, but you'll have to meet him alone. Nero is a private person, and he carries a grudge against me, although perhaps person isn't the right word for him, nor is him. You'll find him in southeast Dalantoth, at Caer Nero. Just head towards the giant tree, and, well, you'll see. That codex isn't just a complicated lore stone. It seems to tell a tale most Fae don't want to hear, and created by High King Titarian himself, no less. Interesting. You'll have to meet him on your own. I'd accompany you, but Nero and I have our disagreements. Good luck with Nero, and ignore anything he says about me.
The hero... I am relieved to see you well. What is happening? First Sagril, and now Bloody Bones. These are shocking developments. Listen, Hallam and I have been discussing what transpired in Uduath. You are needed for a very special quest, a song of your very own. You must travel to the home of Tenwa, also known as the Librarian. It is an important journey, not without its perils. I know little about the Librarian. Only that she and Hallam have spent many seasons studying the ebbing tides of magic and how best to preserve our ballads. She is an odd creature, quite aloof and reclusive. From what I've heard, she enjoys the scholarly arts of men with all their brittle, ink-stained quirks. Do not rouse your mortal worry for Hallam. He has left the court seeking answers to our many questions. He will return in time. If someone is corrupting the songs of this great house, Hallam will find them. He is the storyteller, and he knows our ballads better than anyone. Go to Tenwa's cottage in Haxi. She will be waiting for you. Retrieve a ballad from her collection of fey cairns. It is called The Hero and the Maid. Bring it to me, and guard it with your life. Its worth cannot be measured. The library is a collection of special lore stone called cairns, in which are kept the greatest of summer court ballads. As long as they are safe, so too are our songs. The library was not Lord Issa's idea, but the inspiration of Hallam the White. He created the cairns and cast the spell that protects them. The world is changing. Everyone knows it, even if some choose not to accept it. Even as summer court magic weakens, our library of lore will remain strong. Her cottage stands in the gap between Yolvan and Haxi, southeast of here. It is an isolated spot, safe. Tenwa is expecting you.
Greetings, Sakra.
Come to town for the craft hall?
We're under a plague here in Dyke.
Hello?
Kester and Cora. They're the cornerstones that hold this village up. Tinder twig, which is easiest found in Ironhold Passage. In Scarwood bark, which is found near the ruins in northern Glendara Wood. More reagents. Good, good. Tinder twig, which is easiest found in iron. More reagents. Good, good. Tinder twig, which is easiest found. More reagents. Good, good. Tinder twig, which is easiest found in iron. Tinder twig, which is easiest found.
Ah, the castle. This tells me that your tavern will be a part of Loch Dyden for decades to come.
Last month you told me that the plague would take us all.
I know, but that's not what fate says anymore.
Damn it, Agarth. You're cut off.
Yeah, and I bet I know whose fault that is.
You're a brave soul coming to Dydenhill. This little village is faring pretty badly, and I would know. I was in the war. It's in your best interest to fill your pack and depart as soon as you're able. The blood plague works fast, very fast. It's pretty nasty, and I've seen my fair share of infections and ailments. We had plenty of them in the trenches and on the walls of Mystyra. You don't want to know about me. Besides, that name hardly means anything to me now. I came back different, a shadow of the boy from Goreheart. I'd rather not talk about it, if that's okay with you. I think about the war enough as it is, and I doubt these wolves will ever let me forget it. It was once an old Alfar outpost, nothing extraordinary. Then it became the last line of defense, where we held back the Tuatha through long nights of fire. Mystyra is where I lost this hand, where I knew I'd never come home the same man that I left. You met Gisela? How? I sent that death notice. She should know that I'm dead. She cannot know that I survived. Call me a coward. Call me whatever you wish. I am not the same man she wed so long ago. I am broken. I cannot subject her to the nightmares, the wounds, the restlessness. I will spare her that torment. I don't know. I've endured much, but perhaps she has endured even more. Her silent vigil has no doubt been as trying as my time on the battlefield. You're right. This reunion is one we both deserve. We have earned our happiness. How could I have ever considered anything else? Thank you, truly. Thank you. I paid a scholar to fashion a false death notice, the kind the army uses to inform the next of kin that a soldier has fallen in the line of duty. A courier left with it several days ago. All my hope for Gisela's future went with it.
It's your fault that I can't pay my tab, you know? I wasn't ever supposed to come back here in the first place. I've spent the last 20 years knowing what fate had in store for me. And then you... Damn it. I thought I had my life figured out. I know. It's just... I wasn't always the man I am now. In my youth, I was quite the warrior. I fought beasts the size of trees, was celebrated by mortals and fae alike. When I was initiated into the Fate Weavers, I thought it was a reward for my good deeds. The first time I saw my own fate, I realized it was nothing but a curse. My own death, of course. But not a hero's death as I had always dreamed. I was going to die alone and unknown, killed by an Etin and used for stew. It was a terrible end, but I knew it was part of fate's greater plan. Then you came and changed that future. You stole my part in the tapestry. I was at peace with knowing the worst. But what do I do now that there's nothing to know? You're right. My glory days don't have to be over, and as long as I'm around you, I don't know how my story will end. That means I've got to make sure you stay around in one piece. Maybe this old trinket from my youth will help. After all, I don't just owe you my life. I owe you my future. Why, I once tracked the Yeth of Avgrun on a moonless night by smell alone. Fae or not, I could have tracked those Tuatha sober. They've set up in a cavern north of town, complete with some way of scrying your location. That's how they found you so easily. I have a plan, but it'll take the both of us to work. These soldiers were sent out with one purpose: finding you and making sure you stay dead. Everything else, the Well, Arden, Hughes, have all been collateral damage. They're using something big to track you. They call it the Eyes of Tirnoch. Smash it, and they won't be following you anymore. The main entrance is heavily guarded and will require a strong attack. The other route is trapped. It'll need a subtler approach. I don't have an answer for that. I can't imagine what about you made Gadflow send his troops across the continent. Straightforward and direct. A warrior after my own heart. I'll cover the back and make sure they can't escape to report back to whoever sent them here. Let's track down some trouble.
Brother Fallon should have come. Astrid needs them.